Kris Krohn here with Limitless TV with more answers to your questions. All right, today we're kicking off with Juan Mercado with this question. Do you have anyone that can help me out here in Arkansas? Currently trying to find my first rental property. I've got $11,000 saved up and I'm needing somebody to guide me. Juan, excellent question. And you know what? You've got enough for buying a primary residence. This is a home that you can buy. This is a home that you can live in. And this is a home that you can buy with equity. One of the videos that I've shot is all about how you build realtors into your team to find homes with great equity. And that's one of the options that you have. And I would pursue that option and watch that video, and I'll show you how you can dial up the realtors in the area that specialize in investments and find the one or two that are capable of helping you find a good deal. And finding a good deal on a home that you are willing to move into, that $11,000 will absolutely work. If you don't want to move into the home that you're going to buy, I'd probably recommend saving up to maybe another till you get to $20,000 or more so that you can get into that 20% down payment niche. Harley Lover 14. I love Harleys too. Harley Lover 14, do you use property managers? If so, when do you start using them? Well, Harley, I do not like managing property, so I start using them from day one. There's a lot of people, in the beginning I did it myself, some people do it yourself, and I learned that just because you can, doesn't mean you should. Do you like managing properties? Then Harley Lover 14, you should. I think it's a great experience for anyone out the gate to learn some things. But if it's something that you really don't like, then out the gate, bring in a property manager. They're gonna charge you somewhere between 8 and 10% of the gross rent collected. And if you've got a good cash flow, you can afford it, because I don't want you getting burned out doing things that you hate when you can bring in an expert that can help you right out the gate. We have Calsul Casual. Calsul Casual. Informative videos, Kris. Thanks, but my name is spelled with a K. Just kidding. But how can I educate myself more on tax benefits as a real estate investor? Should I read a book or take a course? You know, you could read a book, you could take a course, but you know what? What you need to do is find a tax accountant that specializes in doing people's taxes that own real estate. Those are the best minds. But off the top of my head, I'm just going to share with you the best ones. First of all, number one, you get to depreciate the value of a property over 30 years, which means that you can decrease your income by $2,000 or $3,000 per property. And when you own enough properties, it'll drive your income potentially down to zero, which means that you won't be really good for qualifying for properties, but you won't be paying taxes either. Another thing is you get to write off expenses, home expenses, property expenses. You can use up to a percentage of your own home for a real estate office. You get to write off your cell phone. So you get to track your miles. You get all sorts of perks that come with being able to do that. So you've got some really great options that way. And those are two of the really big tax benefits that you pick up. And then also when it comes to selling the property, capital gains, things like that, you can do a refinance, which is a non-taxable event. And then you can also 1031 a house to avoid paying the taxes and roll it into your next project. All of those are some of the main real estate strategies that you're going to get, but work with a tax accountant to get the next level. Javer Yerquadi. Javer, Kris, how do I get my real estate license so when I'm ready to buy a house, I'm good to go? Well, I got news for you, Javer. You don't actually need a real estate license to become a real estate investor. It's totally up to you whether you do or not. I decided to get my lending license when I started in the game. I still don't have my realtor's license. And it's totally up to you how you want to play that. Stefan Zieg. Hey, Kris, I know you mentioned in your videos how you tend to stick with short-term 5 to 7 year deals, but could holding on to a house longer than that be beneficial? Well, it can, but I'm not a fan of the 30-year plan. I'm more a fan of the 10-year plan. And when you take a look at holding onto a home longer, just know that every 7 years, you're going to pick up all of that dilapidation, and you might have to drop $5,000, $7,000, $10,000, $12,000 into rehab, and that can eliminate a lot of the cash flow that you've been making over the years. And so I like to get rid of it in the first wave. The other thing is it's about velocitizing my money, Javer. Stefan, if I've got my money trapped into a house, the sooner I can relinquish it and put it into the next, the more I get my money turning faster. And what that means is sometimes I can have the same dollar sitting in multiple homes. And so a 20% ROI here and a 20% ROI there means 40% on my money. And personally, I'm a fan of that. Madeline Webb. Easy to say, Kris, but if you buy so many properties in one stop, There are closing costs on each one. There are points on each loan. How do you handle this without kind of an agenda? At least if you had to close on each other home inside of a conglomerate and tear down and build a bigger residential property with units and condos, please respond to my question. Madeline, I'm here to answer your question. First of all, I don't mind paying points and lending fees and closing costs. Why? It's the nature of the beast. They're not to be avoided. It's just part of the transaction. So you build them in and you work around them, because ultimately I want to have a tax team, a lending team, a realtor team, because all those people, I get them working for me. And when they're working for me, it makes my life a heck of a lot easier than trying to do a lot of those things on my own. Then you also say, what do you do if you want to buy bigger residential properties with units and condos? You can certainly do that and get into those kind of properties. We've talked about that a little bit. It's not really my specialty. When I start getting into tear downs and rebuilding and bigger projects, that's where I take a little bit of a lazier approach. I would call lazier smarter. At some point, projects get too big. And remember, the bigger the project gets, the more profit I need. I know some people that to make a 20% ROI will do a Herculean amount of work. I bought this property, I subdivided the land, I built another house on it, I did all these things. It took me 9 months, worked my butt off, made 20%. Meanwhile, I just went in and bought a property that didn't even fix up and sold, made 20%. I mean, there's easy and there's hard. So for me, I'm a fan of choosing easy over hard. It's one of the things that I look at, because the harder usually comes with more complications, hidden costs, and in my experience, they don't often turn out as cut and dry as simple and easy does. Anthony Rogers, please make a video on how to buy a multifamily home. Anthony, I'm going to do that for you. Nate, write that one down. How to buy a home multifamily style, but I'm just going to tell you right now just a little bit on that. Multifamily, the principles are going to carry over and work the same. My experience is that the only way to really get a deal on multifamily is not because someone is trying to, it's a very elastic market, so you're not going to get a deal on it. Where you get the deal is if it's ready for a massive upgrade and rents haven't been increased and you need to put money into the property. So for example, I can buy a house, maybe an apartment unit at a 30% discount, but I need to bring a few $100,000 to the table to elevate the level of everything and then raise the rents because the previous managers didn't. And the higher rents and the higher the cap rate, the more money that I'm gonna make on the back end. So I'm looking for a way to improve the premise, and that's typically what you do with multi-units. We'll get a video coming your way. Harry Y. Kris, when partnering with someone who wants to go in 50-50 on a down payment, do I also give them 50% of all net profits? Or in general, do you ask for a bigger share if you found the place and did the initial work? Great channel, by the way. Thanks, Harry. I think so too. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Okay, if I'm putting in money and they're putting in money, but I'm also then doing all the work, you better bet your britches that I'm going to be getting a better cut. Usually I'm 50-50 if they bring all the money and I do all the work. So if I'm doing all the work and I bring half the money, then I'm probably going to end up being closer to a 75% owner. And for bringing in some of the money, they're going to be a 25% owner, maybe even a 20% owner. And so hopefully that helps you on how you do those splits. Regina Abera, can you make a video about how to buy a fourplex? You too? All right. Multifamily, similar advice. Remember, fourplexes are also very elastic. Hard to get a good deal on them. We'll make that video for you. Jason Savage. Thanks, Kris. Great info. Is there a 1031 tax exchange equivalent in Canada? Jason, that is a great question. I actually do not know the answer to that. I would probably hop online and Google it and see if they got something like that. I don't got that answer for you. Caleb Pendergast. Caleb Pendergast. So you don't recommend going to college at all? No. I never said that. I mean, after all, you can get started in real estate with only $3,000 US, like I could live in my parents' home literally, not paying for anything, and after 10 weeks of working minimum job, I could save up my property. Did I get it right? Okay, Caleb, we need college for many different types of jobs out there, and the statistical average is that those with a degree typically earn twice as much as non-college earners. But what I'm a really advocate for is saying that real estate investing, this is about achieving freedom. College is about getting a job and being able to do a great job paying the bills or maybe getting ahead a little bit. I use real estate to get ahead, not a little bit. I use real estate to get ahead a lot. So it's something that I would do in addition to. I can't really tell you whether you should or shouldn't go to college. I do believe in education. This real estate, this is also education. I'm going to be educating my entire life. And for those of you that require degrees to do, to become an engineer, a doctor, a lawyer, some of these other professions, Do that. Get that degree, get that education. Ultimately, I'm a massive proponent of education. Just don't believe that a college degree is an end-all be-all, because college isn't going to teach you how to become financially free. They're really just going to teach you how to work for somebody else and do okay. Hip City Life. Here's my question. If you purchase a home and then after a year purchase another, then you sell the first home. If you live in it for 2 years and avoid capital gains, true, but if you turn around and sell the second house, you'll have to pay capital gains on that other house or every other house that you buy. How do you avoid capital gains? Well, Hip City Life, we're not always trying to avoid capital gains. Taxes, that's how we pay the golden goose that lays the golden egg of opportunity that America provides us with. I love paying my taxes, but only what I get to. So I will take advantage of every loophole that I possibly can. So you can avoid capital gains if you lived in the house for 2 years, but frankly, if your investment strategy lets you build 4 times more larger portfolio without living in it, for heaven's sakes, do not ever hold your portfolio back just to save on taxes. Never allow paying taxes to keep you from growing. I guess that's the real big principle that I see some people doing, because it's like, why should I do more? Why should I put in the effort? Why should I build more? I'll just have to pay more taxes. Awesome. Then I challenge you to get to the point where you're paying $1 million a year in taxes. Because trust me, it means that everything is going super really well in your life, right? So use as many loopholes as you legally and possibly can, and otherwise, bite the bullet with gratitude and keep building that portfolio, man. Okay, last question today comes from Joe Silva. He says, the one thing I'm confused about here is, what, I made a video that confused you? Just kidding. Sometimes a video breeds a lot more questions, right? Joe says, I'm confused about how it works and how equity works in real estate, and you pull the money out from the bank. Can you please help me understand? Joe, this is a fundamental question, so I'm really happy to answer this for you. If I buy a house that is worth $200,000 and I pay $150,000 for it, then I walked into $50,000 of pirate booty. I got $50,000 of equity. It's a 25% equity position. And at some point, I want to harvest that equity out, either through selling the home or through doing a refinance. So a bank loves to lend on a property that I'm buying for $150 that's worth $200, and maybe I bring in a 20% down payment, so now I owe $120,000 on a house worth $200. Once that house is seasoned for 6 or 12 months, the banks have programs where they'll let me go back in and say, hey, we're okay if you owe up to $20,000, 20% on the home, so 20% of 200 is 260. Oh, I owe 120. They'll let me go up to 160. There's a $40,000 margin there. So I'm going to do a refinance or a home equity line, and boom, I got my money back. I still have the house. I'm making money on it. I'm going to go put it in a second house. And now I've got my money working in 2 places at the exact same time. That's called velocity. And that's one thing that I really like to do. So hopefully that helps clear things up for you, Joe. And everyone, thanks for watching today's video. Thanks for watching today's Limitless TV real estate video on the Q&A. Are there videos that you would like to see us create? Are there topics that we haven't done yet? You know what, I know there's a lot of them, but when we create these videos, we would love to create them according to your demand. What do you want? How can we serve you? And just remember, hit that subscribe button and share these videos with some friends if you know others involved in real estate investing that want to get cutting edge knowledge on how to invest successfully in this decade right now.